Hey guys, welcome to the new villa garden. In this video, I wanted to talk about how we water our plants and trees, what kind of watering system we're using, how often we water, and how much. So let's get started. So here, what we're using is a drip irrigation system. I think the brand that we're using right now is called Hunter. It's the brand that was installed by the home builder. Right now we have 3 zones. The first zone, zone 1, is it waters the front yard. And then here in the backyard we have 2 zones. So we have zone 2, which waters the plants, not the trees. Just the plants, the bushes, the roses, the plumeria over there, and also the pots on the side here, these pots. So these are all zone 2, as well as the raised bed back there. And then zone 3 is our trees. So zone 2 for the backyard here. Zone 2 waters every day. Now that it's summer, we don't water it twice. We don't run it twice a day like others do. We just run it once a day. And the reason we don't water twice a day is because once it hits, the noontime, or especially in the afternoon, the peak of the temperature for the day, the tap water gets very hot. Even taking a shower during that time actually gets quite uncomfortable. So it's very hot. And so watering the plants at that point, even if I water the plants, run the irrigation at, let's say, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., when the sun would be already over there, and that's a little bit past the peak of the temperature for the day, the tap water is still very hot. So I think it will only stress the roots of the plants. It might even be, bad for the plants rather than help them. So what we do is we just water once a day, very, very early in the morning, with pulse watering, and then we don't do that. If we have to water again in the afternoon, let's say if a plant is struggling and needs a second watering for the day, we'll probably cool down tap water with some ice. Get it to room temperature, not cold water, right? Just to cool it down to room temperature before watering the plants. So pulse watering means you run your drip irrigation for a number of minutes, and then you pause. So you wait another set of minutes, and then you run it again. So with the Hunter system, once you set the watering time, stays the same for the whole zone. So if you have watering, I think it's called watering time, but if you have it set to water, let's say 4 times a day, you can only set the number of minutes that it waters once. So it'll water 4 times a day for the same number of minutes, if that makes sense. So right now, zone 2, which is our plants here, they get watered once a day in the morning, like early morning, like around 5 a.m. I run it for about 10 minutes, and then I pause it for 45 minutes, and then it runs again for another 10 minutes. So that first wave of water, right, the first 10 minutes, so because it's drip irrigation, right? So for the most part here, I use like a half gallon per hour emitter. So it just drips water for 10 minutes, right? And it lets that water soak in the ground and so it kind of primes the ground first, right, for the first 10 minutes, and then it pauses for 45 minutes. So it lets it soak for that 10 minutes, and then it lets that water to kind of disperse into the ground for the next 45 minutes, and then I water it again for 10 minutes. So that next 10 minutes, the second 10 minutes is actually what soaks the ground real well for the plants. So I do that for zone 2. For zone 3, for the trees, I do that as well. So we do pulse watering as well. But for the trees, it's a different schedule. So it runs, and right now it's summer, so it runs for it runs every 3 days, I think is what I run it for, or 4 days. And I run it for an hour. So an hour pulse watering, meaning 1 hour and then pause for 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and then it runs again for another hour. So it's basically 2 hours. And the trees have different emitters from the plants, of course, right? So here, if you'll see, so for the plants, we have like a half gallon. So the red emitter is a half gallon. The black emitter is I think 1 gallon an hour. So for the most part, it's red emitters. So it's half a gallon per hour for that 10 minutes pulse watering, like I said. Some parts here we also have, like this soaker tube, actually, I think it's rated at about half a gallon an hour. So there you go. Oh, per foot, of course. Yeah, so that's for zone B. And then some parts here I have like this like bubblers, that if you can see that over there. So bubblers, so I don't have to put an emitter on each of these pots in here, so they get watered all at the same time, as well as those that are in the ground there. So this pomegranate tree and this Desert King, we consider established already at this point. So I have them. I have the watering. I'm using a soaker tube on this as well. As you can see, it's a spiral. It spirals around the base here. And then, like I said earlier, it runs for about an hour, pause, and then another hour. So that gets soaked really deep, as well as the fig tree. As you can see there, that's also a soaker hose. It spirals around like that. Now for the younger trees though, so this one, because this navel orange is kind of stunted, so I'm not using a soaker tube on here. I'm using the drip, but I have two on this tree. I have two half a gallon an hour emitters, so on both sides of the root ball there. But I also have, so that runs every 4 days, right? But I also have, so this soaker tube, this is connected to zone 2, which runs every day for 10 minutes or 20 minutes total. So it also gets water from that. So this is just shallow watering, because it only runs for 20 minutes, and that runs for 2 hours total. These fig trees, I water them manually. I water them by hand, like every 2 days. Again, this is also, we consider this an established mulberry tree. So I have I have 4 emitters on this tree, 2 here and 2 on the other side there. One thing that I don't like about the Hunter brand, I guess they have like an accessory that you can purchase and attach. It's called the rain delay. So if it rains, it doesn't kick off, it doesn't water your plants. But compared to like the digital or the smart water system, drip irrigation system like Rain Drip or Beehive, you can set them through your app, through your phone. It's very convenient. So here with the Hunter system, we don't have that rain delay accessory. So if it rains, which we don't really get a lot, although come monsoon season, we'll probably get like a bunch or a burst of rain, like every now and then. But yeah, so since we don't have that rain delay accessory, so we won't be able to automatically skip watering. So we'll just have to, manually stop water, turn off the drip irrigation if that happens. So for these pots here, these are also in zone 2 as I mentioned earlier, and I just have like this tube that has the I think this is rated at 1 gallon an hour. So every 12 inches, they're every 12 inches apart there. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Okay, maybe not. So those emitters are 1 foot apart. So I just line them up horizontally here, put it on a stake, and then try to get them as horizontal as possible, and then just let them drip into the pot. There were some challenges of doing this as well, because these are not like really rigid tubes, so they sag a lot. So I put tension on it by putting a pot against that stake that holds the other end of that tube over there. So I put this pot, one of the heavy pots here, so it props that stake that way, which pulls and puts tension on the line, on the watering line. So the water just drops right where the emitter is, because otherwise if this line is sagging down like that, all the water that comes from this just kind of rolls down this tube down to the lowest point, and that's where it drops down, and these pots would not get any water. So anyway, that was our experience on that. As for zone 1, which is on the front yard, I pretty much run that drip irrigation in zone 1, the same schedule as zone 2 for the plants here, because in the front it's mostly bush, and we have a couple of trees there, but they're pretty much established as well, so I don't really need to water them. Well, I haven't really watered them the same schedule as the trees back here, and they're doing just fine on the front, with the zone 1 scheduling, which is pretty much shallow watering, right? Because it's just 20 minutes pulse watering. But everything seems to be working fine. So if something happens once if we notice any of the plants starting to wilt or getting dried up, the first sign, we try to adjust the watering schedule or the amount of water, to see if that helps that plant. But anyway, my wife also waters these plants, so she sprays water on the leaves in the morning. the mornings, to prevent it from getting too dry, and keep aphids, spider mites, and all of those pests from getting a foothold on our plants. So that's it for this video. Thank you for joining us on this journey of transforming our tiny backyard into our little own desert oasis. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. I'll see you in the next one.